So historically, the control of disease has been an important driving force for the development of states as we think of them today. So Charles Tilly famously argued that wars make states. And yet, historians have shown that inasmuch as military conflict, it was war against an often more deadly foe than an enemy army, disease, that prompted the extension of the state into previously autonomous social domains. On the one hand, contagion prompted the development of institutions of control, civilian law enforcement agencies, police, customs, migration, intelligence services, quarantines, and pandemics led to the establishment and strengthening of health bureaucracies, city health boards that marked the exertion of unprecedented state power over societal actors like the church. City boards regularly overruled the clergy in prohibiting festivals, processions, and gatherings. On the other hand, contagion also encouraged the development of institutions of care, such as poor laws, relief for the needy, that underlay the emergence of welfare states. The control of disease and healthcare in general thus gradually went from being a private realm, dominated by religious and kinship-based organizations, to being recognized as within the jurisdiction of, and then also a key responsibility of a state towards its people. So Roosevelt famously said that the success or failure of any government in the final analysis must be measured by the health of its citizens. And key to this is the protection against disease. But if we think of conceptualizing how capable states are in terms of how effectively they control infectious disease, it's important to recognize that this is a particular type of state capacity that rests critically on a state's ability to gain compliance with society. So let's think for a second of the typology of the kinds of activities that states regularly undertake. On the left, you have tasks that states can achieve without much active participation from society: economic planning, the dispensation of justice, building of public infrastructure. On the right, on the other hand, are activities that states cannot be successful at without the compliance of society. So the best organized elections are only successful if people vote. Volunteer armies can only be raised if people join them. A state's tax base, often its main source of revenue, rests on people willingly, fairly paying taxes. A state's public health policy is only as successful as the extent to which people comply with it. Historically, states have elicited compliance with their policies on this rough spectrum from coercive to voluntary. On the coercive end, forcible inspection, raiding of homes, separations of patients from families, segregation of contacts, compulsory sterilization, compulsory vaccination laws that may or may not be accompanied by force. But such coercion is far from ideal. It's costly to implement. You need to have information. You need to monitor and punish those who are evading. And further, coercion risks societal pushback. Through much of history, people have gone to great lengths to resist public health mandates. In India, colonial reports document how families hid plague victims in lofts, in cupboards, in gardens. In addition to such evasion, across much of the world, coercive public health policies have provoked protests, uprisings, violent riots, even assaults on and the assassinations of state employees. Moving across the spectrum away from coercion, many states stop short of making vaccines compulsory, but they may require them for access to state resources, schooling, employment. And at the very end of this scale, we can think of compliance with public health interventions that is voluntary, willingly extended. This is the most desired type of compliance, but it is also the most elusive. It represents a category within state tasks that require popular participation that, following a group of fellow New England economists, I call wicked hard.